All right, good afternoon. It's good to see everybody. Great week sitting in front of us here. Really looking forward to getting an opportunity to go compete against Nebraska in Lincoln. Again, as I told our players yesterday, one of the most tradition-rich rivalries in the history of college football. Just a ton of incredible moments in the series history. A series that represents class and integrity and incredible success, Hall of Fame moments, players, coaches, and certainly a bunch of championships. So it's going to be a real honor and really exciting to have a chance to go up to Lincoln, this weekend. We're as healthy as we've been all fall camp right now, and so it's a good thing for us. Expect to get Wanye back here this week, and I'm hopeful Key Lawrence is back, as well as Robert Conjol, and hoping to see maybe the first opportunity to see Nick Anderson, as long as he doesn't have any setbacks during the week. So comes at a good time, being healthy, and hopefully we get into a good rhythm. We're continuing to build our team, developing an identity. I saw some great things from our team and how we responded to some tight situations. We had a long way to go to be a championship caliber football team, but I do like the mindset of our players right now, their willingness to work, invest daily, having a one game at a time mindset, and just really focused on the task at hand. I see maturity and good leadership from our guys. And again, as I've said, the continued buy-in that it takes to, have a sustainable, successful program. And, at the end of the day, to be able to have a good season. It's going to take that from our guys. So it's a tough, challenging stretch, these next several months. But I really like where our players are. From where we're at 2-0, haven't really accomplished anything, but we're making incremental improvement in a lot of things, and how we do what we do. Our guys are getting more and more comfortable with that. Our processes throughout the course of the week, and this will be our first opportunity to travel. So another small challenge, going on the road, early game, staying an hour away. I like that because it gives our guys an opportunity to get, again, uncomfortable and an opportunity to grow through this. We're going to need all that, experience-wise, down the road. This won't be the last time we play early. None of that stuff matters, As exciting as it is an opportunity to be able to give our guys experience of playing in Lincoln, and, again, based on the history of this rivalry, at the end of the day, this is going to be about us and how we prepare, how we work, our ability to execute in a hostile, tough environment, and our guys to be able to play with confidence, poise, and maturity throughout the course of the week and on Saturday morning. So I'll open it up.
Ryan Aber.
Yeah, Brent, you mentioned that you expected Wanye to be available on Saturday. What have you seen from him with the way that he's handled being out the last couple weeks, and just what's the balance like of trying to work him back in or get him back in there when you've had a guy like Tyler Guyton step in and play this?
Well, he's getting better work than he would if he was on a varsity. He's been on the scout team for the last 3 weeks, and so he's getting good work against good defensive ends. You go on the scout team and you're going to go against guys that aren't quite, at that level. And then when we go good on good, he's been able to work in there some as well. So he's shown, a good spirit about it, all things considered. And so I'm not sure if he's rusty. It's because he's, he got the jitters. Otherwise there should be no excuse. He's been working, at a high pace against good players for the last several weeks. Did you ask me something else? Okay.
Brent, I wanted to ask you about leading the nation in TFLs, top 10 in sacks, 8 points allowed in the first 2 games. How much does what's happening on the field really help validate what these kids had to do to buy into what you're trying to teach?
Yeah, I mean, I can promise you, we're not beating our chest. I don't want to ever downplay improvement and success, and I want to recognize our guys. This is a game of performance. When they perform well, I tell them. When they don't, we'll tell them, and hold them accountable to that as well. So, again, through 2 games, pretty good production. It's more about us. We're leaving a lot of meat on the bone, in my opinion. There's a lot more to be had and needs to be had. It certainly does, create a lot of more success you have. Things kind of work out like you said they would ahead of time. It does lend credibility. It creates a little more buy-in, a little more sense of urgency, a little less questioning if there was some. All of that, I think matters in how you're trying to build a culture and a system and, a mindset, the work that it takes, the grind that it takes. All great things in life come from work and a grind. And I don't want our guys to ever feel any other way. And you gotta, we're gonna have to earn it. Whatever we get, it's because of the work we either did or didn't put in. And I don't ever want our guys complaining about the results they don't get for the work they didn't put in. And so, again, good hard work. We're aggressive in a lot of our structure, and in some ways, lots of different ways to be aggressive. It's not just blitzing. What I've liked is some of the whether it's sacks or disruption that we've had is too, because our coverage has been, again, certainly far from perfect, but at times we've really complemented each other in the back end and the front end, where the quarterback's got to hold the ball a little bit longer. So, creating belief and buy-in is incredibly important. The faster you get that, the quicker you're going to have better results. So that's where we're at. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this side, Boppers Miller.
Yeah, Brent, we lose R. Mason, Marcus, Kelvin during the course of Saturday's game. Not sure a lot of people noticed. How does that speak to the depth that Miguel and Todd have been able to build in such a short period?
Well, yeah, I think it's they've done a great job. They certainly have, and we got a group of hungry guys. We don't have a lot of depth in this incredible experience, if you will, or a lot of snaps playing, but that we've got bodies, and the players have worked and have, again, bought into what they've asked them to do, and the coaches have done a nice job of continuing to develop them over the last 9 months. And so we're improving. Again, it'll be hopefully a process that we continue to improve all season long. And but obviously those are 2 good players that you just can't manufacture more good players. A guy like a Clayton Smith's going to have to step up, and we'll look at what other opportunities there are for maybe other players to play, on the edge as well.
Far left, John Hoover.
Yeah, Brent, with Wanye back in the fold this week and Robert Conjal healthy potentially for this week, what do you expect to see? What kind of improvement do you expect to see across the offensive line, and what level of improvement do they need to make after the first 2 games?
Just everybody's got to get better. It's not just the offensive line. Everybody needs to get better in cohesion, chemistry, communication, awareness, fundamentals, toughness, finishing. All of those things. Got to continue to get better across the board at every single position on the team. So. How quickly, you get guys that haven't been together for a little while, how quickly do they gel and have the right kind of chemistry? Who knows? We'll work through that this week, and this weekend will be a great opportunity to continue to work on that. But again, whatever happens on Saturday, my expectation is in a month from now we're even better. So, hopefully we'll continue to improve. That's what it's about. So we need to.
Second row right, Cliff Brunt.
Hey, Coach, Nebraska's record in recent years aside, Lincoln, Nebraska can be a very tough place to play, very large crowd, very involved. What are you expecting in terms of atmosphere, especially given the energy surrounding the coaching change, and how do you prepare for it?
Yeah, I think people will be on edge, and I think there'll be a lot of emotion in the stadium. And I know this, when I've had my back against the wall in this profession, I feel like I've always responded, and I've shown the pressure has brought out the best in me. And so that to me is what you'll see, from a Nebraska team. I think they've had 13 one-score games, in the last year. And they've done a nice job recruiting good players. They've got good schemes, and they've first couple of games this year they've had some tough moments right at the end of the game. It happens. So this is a team that's incredibly capable, talented, tough. Again, good schemes, put them in good position. They got quality players on both sides of the ball that can play with anybody. So we expect their best. Expect a great atmosphere. One that where they've circled the wagons and galvanized and play inspired, all of those things. That's what we expect.
Next to Cliff, we'll go to Tark.
Thank you, Coach. Jaden Davis and Billy Bowman got in on that strip and fumble recovery. How big was it to see those guys being aggressive? Yeah,
it was huge. From a timing standpoint in the game, for us, that was the defensive play of the game. That we designated, play of the game, where from a momentum, pivotal time, impactful time, where it really made a big difference, in our opinion. That was it. Although we just scored 3 points, we had just gone down and scored on offense and turned right around, and it's a quick 10-point blow, between those two drives for the opponent. So really good, tough play. And again, Jay and Coach Hall, they do a great job of working they tackle every day and they work turnovers every day. And so it was great to be able to see that at, again, a critical time, and great for the, offense being able to score, off of those points. So I thought it was a good physical, fundamental play. They catch the ball. All right, bad things happen. I don't want them to get anything. We don't ever want to concede anything, but you're in a zone concept. They found the zone. They got it to them. We did a good job of ice tackling and then do what we ask them to do once we have it under control, ripping the ball out. So good fundamental play.
Far right, Barry Trump.
Yeah, Brent, you played against Nebraska in the glory days, coached against them, forever. I know you're not on the inside, but as an outsider who's had Nebraska experience, you got any explanation on what's happened to him?
No, I don't. It doesn't take much to be on the wrong side of it. That's all I would say. Obviously, since they went to the Big Ten, I've followed them a lot less. And my memories really go to the competitions that we've had there. I think we lost 10-3 last time we were there. I think we had 5 turnovers on offense. And 2009 is when that was, and we played them in 2010 in the Big 12 championship. So my memories go back from the Kansas State and Oklahoma days, and then the last X number of years. I just haven't, really been as in tune. I do know they've played really competitive. Watching their season from a year ago, just snake bit for whatever reason, whether it's injuries or just timing standpoint, just being on the wrong side of it. And there's no one thing or person I would expect to point a finger to. But they've done a good job of, again, foundationally they haven't been far away, in most of their games. They've been right there.
Stay on that side with Justin.
Hey, Brian. Talking to Daniel Parker yesterday, he was saying that when he got here, his goal was just to follow Braden Willis around and learn as much as he can from him. I'd imagine for some seniors it might be hard to kind of go back to that student role, but just what have you seen out of him in terms of his willingness to really soak it all in? Yeah, and we've got there's a number of guys that they have like these roles like he does that, man, I just have this incredible appreciation for them. Very selfless,
he's got a thankful spirit to him. You're articulating that right now, and I love that. You know, as a guy that transferred in here, again, you know, one of your concerns or things that you're going to be wary of a guy that's been a starter somewhere that comes in was what if their expectation is. You know, sometimes it's easy. You know, for me, got my guard up. I don't want guys coming in here with, you know, thinking that they're entitled to something. You know, I don't want any entitlement anywhere in this program. You know, we're going to guard against complacency and entitlement, and we're going to defend it to the nth degree. And so you do that with people. And one of the attractive things about him was his humility, his thankfulness. He's a tough guy, great teammate, very competitive, and again, it takes a lot of maturity for a guy to, you know, a guy that's just like him, you know, virtually the same age, and to, you know, look up to, you know, his teammate he just met, you know, several months ago, and now he's got to be his quote-unquote backup. So I got a great thankfulness for DP and what he's brought to the team. He's been a leader since he's been here, and I guess he hadn't been a leader his whole career. Whatever that means, that's just some of his own testimony. And so that's cool, too, to hear about transformation, which is what college should be all about. Finding your way, learning and growing through some tough moments in your life, and having a thankfulness is where it all starts, just having gratitude, and it's given him perspective, and now he's created this role and created this value for himself as a result, which I love.
Jenny?
Hey, Brent, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Marvin. We all see what he can do on the football field, but his personality and he's a pretty academic-minded guy. How does that translate to how he's been able to maybe help you guys as a new staff, help the rest of that group of receivers to really get where you guys need him to be? Well, he epitomizes what you want the Oklahoma football player to look like. And from, again, work ethic, accountability, dependability, reliability, he's got all the abilities. He certainly has a lot of gifts. But you want your best players to be your best leaders, and you want guys to be about it and be doers, not takers, and talking about it. And he's, you know, he's meek, but he's strong. And he's somebody that's got a great presence to him, but and you don't need to hear him talk, and he don't ever talk, but you don't need to hear him talk because he, you know, what he's all about is very loud. And just an incredible example of what it should look like, you know, a student athlete. Everything he does, he autographs his work with excellence. And just really, I got a lot of respect and admiration for Marvin. And again, low maintenance, he's an over-deliverer. You can always count on him. And don't want to take him for granted, you know, whatsoever. He's what it's all about. And he makes everyone around him better. Because of, again, his presence.
Let's come to this side here.
You weren't too far from Lincoln when you were a pup, right? 2-hour drive.
Yep.
Was Husker football on your radar at all as a player?
Obviously, I wasn't good enough. You know, I grew up in the 90s now, right? Late 80s, 90s, I don't know. I never thought of myself like I was good enough like that. And I was right. I found my spot. I wasn't good enough at K-State either, but somehow I found a hole in the fence. So, no, I've just, man, like, always looked at Nebraska like, you know, I'm David and that's Goliath. Like, had that type of mindset, like, man, these whole nother planet where these guys are from. And they were. And so, you know, that's how I just looked up to them like that, you know. But everybody has their spot, you know. I had a good perspective of where I was as a player, but just always have had admiration and respect. You know, Coach Osborne is as classiest, one of the classiest coaches to ever coach in the game, and the program, everything that it represented: strength, toughness, power, speed, just excellence, and consistency for such a long period of time. So really, and then when you go there, Lincoln is a really, again, a lot of pride in the community, certainly on that campus, and very clean. Everything is just spotless. it's a cool thing, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I grew up, you know, we'd pit stop going to Grandma and Grandpa's, we'd pull over and we'd jump in the cornfield. We'd load up on some corn. I guess that's stealing, but I thought it was free because there was no store and, you know, no signs, but that's what we did. We got us some sweet corn. So.
All right, Ryan Chapman.
Brent, we were talking to Jaden last night, Jaden Davis, and he talked about how essential like Jay Bly's been in helping rebuild that confidence. What does that look like from a coaching perspective to kind of pour into those guys through the offseason when you haven't had games where you guys are actually coaching them?
Yeah, I'm really proud of Jay, the impact that he's had with his group of guys, and I'm proud of the players for the work. I love watching them practice. All of his drill work, his fundamental work are things to help them, improve them, as opposed to just drilling. He figures out where they need the most help, and then he puts a game plan in place to help them improve. So he does a great job. They trust him. You know, we've tried to known that maybe that's a group that was a little fragile when we got here back in January, December, and so we've, you know, and he's been very intentional. But there's a whole team of us that have tried to work with them and create a level of confidence through work and through teaching and learning, you know, a new system and how we can help them. And I think it's important as coaches that you're always trying to play to a player's strength and don't ask them to do with things that they're not great at doing, but they have to get better. You know, you always want to attack the weakness, improve the weakness. Hopefully you can get it to become a strength, and but it doesn't just happen, as we know, overnight. And so there's a lot that goes into that, both mentally and physically and fundamentally. So that's what I've seen, and Jaden's been a byproduct of that, of just, you know, one of the most powerful things that you can say to somebody is, I believe in you. But your actions got to back that up as well. That doesn't mean you don't hold them accountable and you don't correct them when they make mistakes, but you got to, you know, through a genuine, authentic relationship, you got to develop that trust. And he's done that.
Stay in front, Eli.
I don't mean to harp on Wanye, but with him, what ultimately was the resolution that allowed him to be back this week with you guys?
It's just an off-the-field issue, you know. So.
And then, very different vein, with Mickey Joseph, I don't know where this might have begun, but where does your familiarity with him begin over all the years you both spent coaching?
Yeah, well, I know the name. I've not met him and had like any kind of conversation with him. So he got a great reputation in the profession, doing things the right way as a coach, as a recruiter, relationship guy, very well respected in the profession. Obviously, that I know that Nebraska means a great deal to him, you know, for obvious reasons. And, you know, I know he's very well thought of on and off the field. Got a great reputation.
Brent, obviously, with their record, you know, it doesn't look good offensively. They've been rolling. They've been scoring points. Casey's doing a good job. We could talk about that. But also, if you could take us back to the Wars early in your coaching career here with 2000, 2001, several tremendous games and battles. You can reminisce about those two. I think that'd be cool for us. Yeah,
offensively, again, this will be the best, collectively, the best group that we've faced. Skill, scheme, experience, all of those things. Casey's doing a great job. You know, I hated it. You know, we tried to get him here in the off season and thought that, you know, we might have an opportunity. And I know he considered us, but I think he saw a great opportunity there, unique opportunity, and I'm happy for him. Wonderful family. Casey's amazing young man. You know, great family. So really pulling for him, except for this week. But he's done a great job. You know, he's played well, and they got a great running back in Grant, again from Buford, Georgia, which we're very familiar of, having come from Clemson. We recruited Buford a lot. And he's a great player, signed with Florida State, went to junior college, and he's playing really, really well. They're doing a good job hatting things up. They've got really good tight ends, receivers, backs. And then the offensive coordinator is a guy that's had success wherever he's been. He's an excellent football coach, does a great job scheming people up, and they've got a really good offensive staff. They've done a nice job with their personnel. So we'll have our hands full, to say the least. Memories and whatnot, obviously I said this maybe after the game, but at Kansas State I remember, certainly as a player, what Nebraska was, and then I became a student assistant, and then a graduate assistant, and then I became a full-time assistant, and we finally broke through in 1998. And I remember we missed a face mask. I think that was on Coach Frost, right? Wasn't that on Scott Frost? I think the face mask that they didn't call it on us late in the game, and we ended up beating them. We got them down a sack, and probably it should have gotten called, but didn't. I can say that now, right? They can't hold me accountable. And that was the '98 season when Kansas State was #1 and had #1 defense, and but still Nebraska was that team that we didn't know if we could beat. So that's, in a real and pivotal time in the history of Kansas State, that was the biggest win up to that point in time that I can remember. We'd beaten Donovan McNabb in Syracuse in '97 in the Fiesta Bowl, which was a big win. But beating Nebraska was a whole other animal, and for years you just didn't think you could beat them at the end of the day. And so and then of course we came to Oklahoma, and then I remember getting down 14-0. And Coach Stoops bringing us over, and I think Crouch was maybe the quarterback then, and they were running the option, and we had over pursued a few times, and they went right down, pow, pow, man, just body blow, uppercut, and we were just laying it on the ropes. And Coach Stoops coming on, let's go, we're all right, just slow it down. And like, surely it can't be that easy, but he was right. And then we went 31 unanswered. Really, what a great. And all I remember, they tore down them goalposts out there. So they tore down the goalpost in Norman, Oklahoma, which we know they don't do. And I remember I'm ashamed now because I wasn't celebrating. I'm like thinking, we just, whatever, it was 1 versus 2, and I'm literally thinking, I got to get home. I got to get sleep because we got to. I can't remember his case, Kansas or somebody the next week. We're going to get beat next week if I don't get home. So I'm literally driving through campus on the sidewalks. I got to get home. All these crazy people, celebrating, and I got to get some sleep because I always, like, my role was the most important role. That's how I always felt, and so that was a cool moment. It was a really. But I'm ashamed because I didn't take any opportunity to soak it in. I just didn't. And that's a dysfunctional place to be when I'm not really. Anyway, that's what I remember about that. And then in 2001, going up there and Jason getting hurt, I think for the second time, and that was another maybe a 1-score game. We had a really good defense in 2001, and another great tough game. And then 2005, I remember going there. My mom passed away on Wednesday, and my man Rufus and whoever else, we had a bunch of sacks. I think we had 8 or 9 sacks up the A-gap. So I remember that one real well, and we won that game. And then lost a tough one, I think 10-3 in 2009, and then had a great win. I played him in the Big 12 championship in, was that 6? With the head coach of the Bengals, Zach Taylor, right? And we played really good in that one, I remember that. And in Kansas City, and then in 2010 in Arlington. So a lot of great memories, a lot of tough losses. Tough moments as a young coach too, and so I got in my own space, got a lot of really cool moments. I was very fortunate to be you know, a part of those.
Okay, Brandon Drum, second row.
Yes, sir. You talked about Casey just a second ago, and you know how talented he is. You guys try to bring him in. But can you talk about the challenges that he brings to you guys defensively? And did last week's game, quarterback play, similarities, how they can move around the pocket, kind of slithery, does that help you all prepare for him this week? Or?
Yeah, I mean, those are players that can throw it and run it, and they got size and strength. They're hard to defend at every level. So you hope that having experience helps you a little bit, improve. But Casey's done a great job. Again, he can improvise, he can extend plays, he does a great job. He's made some plays down the field where it looked like he was dead to rights. He's a winner, he's been a winner his whole life. I can't really explain whatever happened at Texas to make him want to transfer in the first place. I don't know. I literally don't know. I've never had that conversation with him. Doesn't really matter, so I haven't spent any time with that, but very talented, and it comes from, that's a heritage of that family, you know, competitive, tough, instinctive, winner, leaders. So he's talented, you know, on top of that, but he's very confident. And then he's in a system where the coordinator, he's a really confident guy too, really good coach fundamentally, and puts him in a position to be successful. So.
You had a unique position to be able to be around him when he was younger. Do you have any memories?
No memories other than, you know, Charles is just a great dad, and it's a very close family. They were always together, and, you know, they're just sports junkies, you know, as a family, but most importantly that just very supportive outwardly. They were always there to, you know, together. The family's just always together. And when I first went on a trip, I think I might have been going back to Clemson on a weekend, and one of the first times maybe it was the first time I was leaving, and I was flying out of OKC, and I saw Charles. And then days later, well, maybe hours later, Casey got in the portal, and we were back on the phone again immediately. But just a neat, great family.
Okay, in the back, Lee Benson.
Coach, you mentioned a few times in the offseason about how you have a lot of players that haven't taken a snap at OU, and now they have now. But that also probably means they haven't played any big games atmosphere-wise on the road, kind of like Nebraska coming up. So someone like you that stresses preparedness and being ready for everything. How can you prepare for something like that, or do you have to just be in it to kind of get that experience?
No, I think you got to go through it. You talk them through it. You create a vision for it. So there's nothing like being in it, but we got to do a great job of mentally getting them ready for it. And again, focus on us, focus on Oklahoma, being inside out, control what we can control. And again, I've always had this, you got to play great on defense, in the kicking game, obviously. You know, don't make things easy on them from a turnover standpoint. And you take the crowd out of the game by playing well. You know, you want to have the kind of environment that you like. You know, you gotta play well. So that helps you as well. But again, really making it about us more than anything. But you don't want to surprise them either. So educating them as well, whether you're piping in the sound for practice and how to operate and things of that nature.
Okay, two more. We'll go to Austin Cartwright and then Curtis Fitzpatrick. Austin.
Brent, you've obviously talked about it a little bit, but you were coaching the last time OU was in Lincoln in that 2009 game. Just what do you remember from that game overall? I mean, lots of defense, not a whole lot of offense. Just obviously Dom Kent and Prince Mukamara, Landry's, was a freshman. Just what do you remember from that whole
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they had an amazing defense. I think our offense, we had done pretty well. We just kept turning the ball over. But Nebraska's really good, on defense, and we were really good on defense as well. So I think they had under a couple hundred yards, and our offense had a little over 300, but we had 5 turnovers. So that's a recipe for L, and we lost 10-3. If I remember, is it 10-3 right?
Yeah.
And it's just a tough environment. But, man, you get so into the game and the play and the alignment and the execution or lack of, you really, once the game starts, everything goes really like white noise quiet, you know. That's how it's always been for me. So, but I always take 30 seconds to, check it out. You're like, all right, this is what it is. So, like I said, it's full. Their fans are very loyal, very passionate, very similar to here. For the longest time they had and I don't know if it still holds true, but they had maybe the most consecutive sellouts of anybody in college football. Does that still hold true? Are they still?
Yeah, it's still active.
What is it?
It started like 63.
Yeah. How many games? That's crazy. Is that crazy? That's cool though. I mean, that's super cool. I'm a loyalist, and that's what it looks like. And even through some tough moments. I don't know. I wasn't here in the 90s when we had gone maybe 4 years without going to a bowl game. Was it full? Was every? Okay. So the only reason I say that is not to throw that in our own face, but that's probably more like what most places would be like. Oh, we're not going if we ain't winning, right? But there, they're still gonna show up, right? So that's pretty cool. That's uncommon.
You didn't know it at the time that they were going to the Big Ten. Is it weird looking back, knowing that that game maybe didn't get a proper send-off, maybe the way that rivalry should?
I don't know. We gave them the proper send-off in championship game. That's one way to look at it. I'm not being whatever. I'm not like cocky. I'm not like that. But that is what happened. So.
By the way, Brent, I think Saturday will be 385.
Jeez, that's amazing. That's a lot, right? And you said it's in 63? Yeah, that's that's awesome. So to me, that's like be able to go compete, coach, whatever in that environment. That's talk about a cool moment. That's if you love the game, that's what it's about.
Okay, last one, Curtis.
Yeah, Brent, another thing on Casey, when you're scouting him, breaking down his game, are you most focused on what's going on this year with him in this scheme, or do you dive back into what he was doing at Texas and looking at him?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably should, but it's really, what he's done, this year. And he's like, again, there's a lot of dual threat mobile quarterbacks, that is more normal than abnormal, when, I don't know, there's more. Remember Brad Smith, that was kind of a big deal, remember, at Missouri. And I'm just trying to go back and think. Of course, we had played a Tommy Frazier, and so he was in that system was, and then you had, when Vince Young, he was like one of those super freaks, and that was 2004, 5, 6. You really just think about all the different mobile quarterbacks you've faced, through the years. There's been a bunch of them, a whole bunch of them, and they're all tough. And then you got qualities like he's a winner, he's a leader, he believes in himself, so he plays with a lot of confidence. You'd really rather, have an athletic, dual threat guy that's a scatterbrain, and he's not like that. He's kind of that stealth bomber mindset, which I love and respect. So to me, it just makes you, creates another level of heightened sense of awareness from a defensive standpoint. And you better, you got to have a good game plan, and they got good schemes to get guys open and create issues and put you in a lot of conflict too. They're not just out there 2x2 and throwing hitches, with his own read. That's not, will they do that? They'll do that some, but they've got a very good system. It's tough to defend.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, y'all have a great day.